Welcome to TotalTennisGame.com. My name is Kevin Garlington, your USPTR Certified Tennis Pro, and welcome to Video 4 on patterns. Again, make sure you've watched the previous videos so you have an understanding of shot selection zones. In this video, you're going to learn about patterns. The benefits of patterns are creating your game style, maximizing what you do best, automate shot selection. The first question you should be asking is, what is a pattern? Patterns are a sequence of shots that you use repeatedly to win points and that make up your game style. Another question you should maybe be asking is, what's the difference between patterns and shot selection? Patterns are personal and can be different for every player based on what they do best, whereas shot selections are what you do when you're not running patterns. For example, Roger Federer loves to hit an inside-out forehand and then an inside-in forehand. This is one of his patterns based on what he likes to hit. But when he's not able to hit the pattern, he might just hit the ball back cross court until he has the right opportunity to run his pattern. That would be shot selection, which you can learn about in video 3 of the series. The basic difference between pros and the local players at the club level, top juniors, and collegiate players is that the pros understand which patterns to use at which times. The quality of their shots are better and the execution of those patterns are extremely well, says Nick Saviano. How do you use patterns? You want to use patterns that maximize your strength and that minimize your weakness. Here are 4 patterns that I've given nicknames to, but you will recognize after you see how they work. All of the patterns are based on players being right-handed and using their forehand as a weapon and having their opponents with weaker backhands. Also watch how each pattern is using different levels of tactical play from video 1. Reducing errors, attacking weakness, attacking movement, and time. The 4 patterns we'll be looking at today are the cross-court pattern, the hammer pattern, the coast-to-coast pattern, and the sneak play. The cross-court can be both a shot selection and a pattern. This is used by players that are going to rely on patience or just might have a bigger forehand than their opponent. This pattern can also be done on the backhand side, going backhand to backhand if your backhand is better than your forehand. By going cross-court, you're going to reduce errors. The hammer pattern may look like the cross-court pattern and shot selection, but the difference is you're going to position yourself in the backhand corner using your forehand to hit to your opponent's backhand. The reason I nicknamed this pattern the hammer is because you're going to be using your forehand to hit forcing balls to your opponent's backhand over and over again until you get an error from them or a ball where you make them take more risk. When executing this pattern, you'll be attacking weakness and trying to keep your errors to a minimum. The coast-to-coast pattern is where you're going to run your opponent side to side using your forehand or strength. This pattern works best when your opponent hits a lot of balls in the center of the court. Over time, you'll wear your opponent down. In this pattern, you'll be attacking movement and some weakness depending on their weaker side. The sneak play pattern is where you're going to back your opponent up off the baseline using a high ball. Then you're going to move in and take their reply out of the air as a volley or a swinging volley. In this play, you will attack weakness, movement, and time if you do it correctly. Action steps. Practice the basic patterns given. Focus on perfecting 3 or 4 patterns. Create your own patterns. I've enjoyed creating this series of videos for you and know it will help you play better tennis. Leave any comments and questions you might have, and I'll personally respond. Thanks, and play tough.